Running It Back is presented to you by the Honolulu Star Advertiser and Hawaiian Telecom.
Welcome to Running It Back. I'm here with Chad Owens, Ryan Kilmaka, and today we have in the studio, jack of all trades, executive director of the Hula Bowl, director of football for the Polynesian Bowl, a retired NFL player, ex-interim head coach of University of Hawaii. He's in Partner Aloha, Polynesian Ohana Classics, GPA Football Academy, and the Polynesian Showcase, the one and only Rich Miano. Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
I had to catch my breath for that one.
Intro.
That was a long one.
Yeah, you sent that in.
Should have started with, yeah, but she should have started with like unemployed, does not work 9 to 5.
Hey, you sent it by. Hey, but look, you worked for that, coach. You earned that, and that's what I want to talk to you about today, man. Wow, so much to talk about with you, coach. You sort of epitomize what it means to be a hard worker. You sort of started the trend of walk on from UH and leading by example, hard work, and throughout your career, post-career, coaching, what you're doing now, how passionate you are about our culture and Hawaii and football and putting us on the map and representing us speaks to your character. So I just want to say thank you first and foremost, for being genuine, being the person you are. And shoot, man, if I could live in our time as college players and that staff that we have, and just unbelievable time. So welcome.
Well, it's first of all, it's great to be here. And if anything else, I don't know if it's going to be my epitaph or whatever when I'm no longer with us. I just want to be known for someone that wanted to give back. I've been blessed to receive, but to me, the true meaning of happiness is to give back. And I got to give a lot of credit to my wife because she's half Hawaiian, and part of that whole thing is to make sure that you give back and not just take.
Yeah, shout out to Lori.
Love that.
Lori!
Local girl.
That's it. Man, I mean, where do we begin, Coach? I mean, yeah, that's a long bio, but like I said, you earned that. And I just want to go back, man, because there may be some people out here. You have a lot of fans. You have a lot of people who followed your career. But take us back to, that time coming out of high school, Kaiser High School, and figuring out what's next. At that time, at those days,
no technology, no YouTube.
What did you do, and how did you get to the University of Hawaii?
Well, I was literally blessed because I only played 1 year of high school football. So to make all-state first team, to win the state championship, to be part of all of those things. I even was the king of the prom at Kaiser High School.
Oh, Kaiser.
I only went to Kaiser High School for 2 years, and I hated Kaiser High School. I hated Hawaii. I hated everything about this culture when I first arrived back before you were sparkle in your mother's imagination in 1978. But then it just hit me that there's no better place in the world. And my brother passed away, falling off spitting caves, which was the impetus for me to walk on the University of Hawaii because they didn't want me. So I was going to go to Linfield, Willamette, junior college, whatever else, but I couldn't leave my parents and my siblings when my brother passed away. So my only choice was to walk on the University of Hawaii. Unfortunately, they didn't want me to walk on. So there was incredible resistance to even walking on at the University of Hawaii. And if I told you those stories, those are war stories. Those are like, it's Disney-like in terms of not wanting to give me pads, not checking me into the cafeteria for meals, not having me in a rooming assignment for dormitories. And then all of a sudden, I'm a walk-on. I'm at the University of Hawaii, and there's 50,000 people. We're playing Oklahoma. We're playing the University of Southern California. We're playing Nebraska. And then 5 years later, I'm blessed to get drafted.
Wow.
They didn't give you
That
pads?
is a story.
No.
So basically, the
why
door
not?
was closed, and you had to knock it down.
It was not only closed because when I hated Kaiser, I did poorly in school. So back in those days, you weren't a qualifier or a non-qualifier. It wasn't like you get accepted. Basically, what happened was I had to take summer schools at the University of Hawaii and get 2 Bs, a 3.0 to even qualify academically. And then I'm sitting outside Leon Shoemaker's office hoping that that guy doesn't trip on me every day, but allows me to be accepted to the University of Hawaii academically, or else there's no Rich Miano, there's no story, there's no NFL, there's no whatever else I've been blessed to be part of.
Damn, I didn't know Al was working equipment manager that long.
It wasn't Al, it was Kenji, bro.
Was it?
Kenji.
Are you serious?
Okay,
Like,
boys.
give me-
Okay,
you never
boys.
like, give me nothing.
Let's get more into this.
That's where Al got that from.
That's right.
Exactly. Chad, let's get more into this
Okay.
right after the
We'll be
break.
right
Thank you.
Running It Back is brought to you by the Honolulu Star Advertiser, bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive full digital access for $9.95 with code AHITHING. Hawaiian Telcom. Fiber power your TV and internet by calling 808-643-0900 or check availability at hawaiiantel.com.
All right, we're back here in the studio with the one and only
Rich
Miano, the legend, the state champ, the diving champ. Ron Lee, Cal Lee recruited you from your diving skills. What can't you do, Coach Miano? Is there anything out there you can't do?
You guys been around me long enough to know that I was the world's greatest athlete under 50 years old. Now that I'm 58, I'm still claiming that title. If it's on ESPN, I can do it.
If it's on ESPN, he can do it.
It's the confidence.
I love the
for me.
confidence.
No, but think about this. Can you all ski, snowboard, all that stuff? Ice skate, play hockey?
Yep.
You can.
Yep.
Kinda,
So
sorta.
we'll get points when we compete. But then you go into diving, surfing, stand-up paddling.
Yep.
You can do
Yep.
all that.
I can't really dive, but I can suicide.
And let's clarify
That's
that. It's a
valid.
form of bombing into the
Yeah.
water,
Yeah,
suicide
suicide-
bomb. You got to be
yes.
clear
Thank
about that,
you.
Ryan.
Thank
you.
Suicide
Right.
bomb.
Gee.
You know, you explode, you make a nice splash.
He was in my defensive back room
Yeah.
for 5 years.
How was
I
that,
thought I
Coach?
taught him better.
How was that? Having Ryan Kilmaka in the DB room.
No, but you think about Ryan Keamaka, then you think about he was L1 on the kickoff coverage team, L2 Jacob Espial, L3 was Mike Malala, L4 was who?
Well, Gaitin.
Gaitin Galdero was 2, I think.
yeah.
But anyway, these are 4 walk-ons that were going down the field just trying to create mayhem. But I was proud because they were all my guys. My guys.
DB
Hey,
love,
so
baby.
hey, okay,
DB
okay,
love.
hey,
DB
okay.
love.
DB
You don't know
Hold on.
about that.
No, hold on. This is perfect. Okay. So I know Ryan is still bitter about this.
Oh,
Talk about your guys. Coach,
We always bring up this
why
story.
did Ryan, why didn't he earn that scholarship? Do you know
You
why?
never got a
He never
scholarship?
got a scholarship.
No.
He never got a scholarship, Coach.
It got given to a
Jeez.
guy on scout team who didn't even smell the freaking
Well,
field.
you know-
But I didn't want. He's the homie. He's a good friend, but
I'm not
you
going to mention
know.
any names, but
Yeah, but here's the deal, right? You know, football is one of those things where you have bosses, and obviously I pull for
He
my
always
guys.
tried to, but he'd be like this.
I wasn't the head coach,
He
bro.
was like this. He's like always
We
pointing to
could
Coach
get
Jones.
June on the show and ask him.
Yeah, he did. He did.
we did.
we got him on the show. I don't think we asked him.
Yeah,
but
we did. And he's like, I thought you had one. Like, Coach.
See, that's the thing is, you were strolling around like looking like you had money, so they were like, "This kid ain't starving at least."
You know,
Hey.
on the outside it looked good,
Yeah.
but didn't know Simon every day sneaking into the cafeteria because
imagine.
with all the big guys with the linemen going, I just sneaking right in the middle, bro, and then I exit out, bam, free food.
But hey, I always bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up for you, and I know it's a proud moment. It didn't, scholarship or not, it didn't stop him from hawking that guy down in the Sugar Bowl on the kickoff return.
Well, the speed was there.
Speed.
Size, little small. Try to work out, get a little buff on.
Strength
but-
was good though.
I love this. I love it.
And,
I
and
love
now
the
look at him.
criticism.
He's a TV star.
Hollywood. He always was saying, "Oh man,
No,
he
no.
belong in Hollywood."
But hey, you know, you be nice to your players. You know why? Because when Bruno Mars first came into town, he got me 11 tickets.
Wow,
second row,
Ryan.
Signed drumsticks, signed guitar picks. And guess what? The fam loves Ryan. So we tight.
Wow,
We're almost
Ryan.
Like blood.
So no wonder you get all these speed and quickness gigs like first on the list.
Yeah, Hula Bowl
Hawaii
2020
Speed and
shirt.
Quickness, Hula Bowl, GPA, Polynesian Bowl, whatever we can.
The best,
throw in.
what
Whatever
I
we can
loved, what I
provide.
loved the best was in college. We did speed camps on every island, kind of deal.
Yeah, that was
high
good
school.
fun. I
remember
That was
those
really
times.
good.
Trisha Kai.
Yep, that was
and
really fun, man. I
Colt
loved.
and Devon
Giving
and
back,
Chad
yes.
and all the greatest players in the history of Hawaii.
It was good.
All
Kenny,
sports.
Leonard,
and you on
everyone.
that list, Ryan? You on that list?
You know, you know how it is. 1:30. We good.
We good.
Sorry, I just.
No, man. So, I mean, on that note, Coach, I mean, I know we're catching up and reliving some of these unbelievable times, but that whole giving back? Like, where did you get that from? Like,
Well, I just really felt like, and I remember a guy coming up to me and saying, there's a lot of NFL players, there's a lot of Major League Baseball players, there's a lot of professional surfers that try to give back. You can name Carissa Moore, Colton Wong, all these people. But from a football standpoint, as both of you know, if you come back and live in Hawaii in the off season, you lose money because you're not playing in all the basketball leagues, you're not signing autographs, you're not doing all these things to set you up in terms of life after football. But I always felt like I couldn't wait to come back, to give back, to share the experiences I've had and the knowledge I've had and the ability to really create these camps, these clinics, everything possibly for free, get corporations to pay for it, get foundations to pay for it, start a nonprofit. I mean, Hawaii Speed and Quickness, 21 years, literally hundreds of thousands of kids come up to me. And it's one of those things where if you paid $10, you weren't below the poverty line, you weren't a sibling or a child of a police officer. If you needed shoes, we bring you shoes. If you needed nutrition, we bring you nutrition. We try to make sure that we provided the best opportunities here in the state of Hawaii, like they provide in other areas. And I'm not saying it's not right for some of these other guys not to come back, because they do give back to the state of Hawaii, but I knew this is where I was going to live. This is where I was going to coach. This is where I was going to give back. And then again, having my wife, and she does so much of the financial stuff, the nonprofit stuff, the administrative stuff. I like doing the programming.
yeah, well, that's awesome, Coach. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back. We got Rich Miano here, running it back.
Safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines are important tools to protect our families and community. If you have any questions about the vaccines, visit hawaiicovid19.com/vaccine. Izzy Tows It, providing towing services island-wide. Visit towingserviceoahu.com.
Welcome back. We are here in the studio with the boys.
The walk-on boys, baby.
The walk-on boys.
Boys.
We should
So
trademark
You guys
that.
should make a shirt out of that. Yeah, trademark.
WOB, Walk On Boys.
Wow. Wow.
Wob.
Bob.
Hey, bro, you gotta earn it though. You gotta earn this shirt. If you make the team, you can buy the merch. You know what I mean? If you walk on and no make the team, then you can't.
Not the kind one day, whatever. You gotta like play.
You gotta play.
Exclusive to only the ballers.
Yeah, it's the under. What is it called?
Under the radar.
Yes, under the radar. kind of-
WB, walk on ballers.
Ooh.
Walk on baller.
Walk On You is already taken, so we gotta go Walk On Ballers. And that's universal. Like, we can even sell this stuff to the other 500 schools that play
That
football.
have walk-ons, yeah.
And walk-ons.
Wow.
It's huge.
Great. Since this podcast is called Running It Back,
We're transitioning. Here we go.
Here we go, Ryan.
got a question.
Yes.
What is your running back moment? Taking it back to whenever throughout your whole life, but that fork in the road where you have to make a decision, or it molded you to who you are today. What is that moment?
Ooh, tough question. The moment that I am who I am today.
Light bulb moment, Coach.
light
It could be
bulb.
something you
Aha
met.
moment.
It's a running it back
I
moment.
would say, I think when I blew out my knee, my 6th year of the New York Jets, the decision not to retire, to rehab that knee, come back bigger, faster, stronger, and play for the Philadelphia Eagles for 4 years and then the Atlanta Falcons, just to keep playing and being able to, continue the platform that you love to do, but was just about taken away from me. But it related back to, perseverance, hard work, all that kind of stuff, and just believing in you can do this.
Yeah, and your character, that was, yeah, I mean, yeah, the thought, I don't think you knew you were going to come back from that. Like, quitting
Was not
it
an
might
alternative.
have, yeah, but that wasn't part of your DNA. And I think back then, I think surgeries today are different than the way they
Much
are back
different.
then.
Yes.
But if I don't mind me asking you, Coach, how did you tear your ACL? Like, what was it a weight? Someone clipped you? Like, what was the
No,
what was the
we
deal?
were scrimmaging in the New York Giants, and I was playing free safety, and I was coming inside out on a tackle, and there was no force, so there was nobody that
containment?
contained the running back. And basically, there was this big lineman, and I still remember him to this day, obviously like 320 pounds, whatever else. And so I thought he was going to, like take me up high because he was square on me. And then he cut me, and I tried to escape the cut, and my leg got caught in the ground. It was just like, oh, I'm done, bro. I'm done.
Immediately.
There goes my
Immediately.
career. Yeah, I'm done.
You felt it.
Yeah,
Right,
and I was just on the verge of like making realer money, if that's a word. Establishing myself.
Because he was
as
kind of
as
the guy. He was becoming the guy.
I was becoming the
that
guy, and I'm
dude.
going like, I'm going to start this year, and I'm going to get a new contract, and okay, I got to get, now I got to rehab for a year.
But, I guess the reason why I asked is I think that was on natural grass, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And I think the injuries are higher today because of the turfs.
No
because the foot doesn't come out.
Yes.
So much higher. And,
question.
even concussions, I believe, are higher today because of that factor. And that's why I want to ask you, what was and it took that kind of force, someone cutting you out. There's a lot more ACL tears and Achilles tears today just on planting and making a cut, right? Which
Non-contact
is
injuries.
non-contact. It's crazy.
June took over in 1999. I had never coached before. He had not only confidence in me, but Ron Lee, Callie, a lot of local guys that never were college football coaches that had the greatest run in the University of Hawaii history.
Yeah, and listen, I want to talk about this, Coach. We're going to take a quick break. This needs this time. We'll be right back with Coach Rich Miano.
Running It Back is brought to you by Aloha Termite and Pest Control, your local and leading pest and termite control solution in the state, always providing you superior service with Aloha.
Welcome back. We're here in the studio. We're just talking a little bit about coaches.
Yep, transition. So, Coach, let's continue on. You talked about one of the greatest staffs that made one of the greatest runs in University of Hawaii football history.
Yeah, and it's people say arguably. I don't argue that. If anyone was ever 12-0, if anybody ever went to the Sugar Bowl, if anybody took over a program in 1999, the greatest turnaround in NCAA history, the amount of guys that went to the NFL, guys like yourself, Colt Brennan, Devon Best, Pisa Tanoi Samoa, Isaac Supawanga. I mean, you start just talking about LeBoy, all these players. I hope I'm not a prophet, but I said this during that year, that you'll never see the success of the University of Hawaii at that level again, because the haves have so much more, from television contracts, apparel contracts, money, and University of Hawaii may never get. I hope I'm wrong with this, but that was an amazing time in all of our lives. And
Definitely.
Sometimes you don't remember the scores, but you remember the stories, you remember the characters, you remember the exuberance, the love from Hilo to Hanalei. I mean, there was no better time, 50,000 people, but everybody got behind the Warriors.
Loved it.
It was a complete culture change.
And speaking of stories, Coach, what's your I just want to hear what your experience was with these two. What's one memory with Ryan and one memory with Chad?
Well, Ryan
Good
was
or bad?
always
Give it all, give it all.
Because Ryan was, he was a guy that didn't look like he belonged, like physically. He's not the kind of guy you recruit. But he was a guy that as soon as you saw how fast he was, how tough he was, and that exterior sometimes doesn't even show that, but he has it in his heart. So I knew he was going to be a good player and everything else, but he was the kind of guy that you'd look around, because you're coaching like 25 guys, and you're sitting in this big auditorium, and you're like, where the hell is Ryan? Oh, he's not here, Coach.
We still ask the same question.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and it's different, the genders, but Ryan was like coaching a little kid with talent, but just, whew.
You gotta light up the room. Everyone's so serious. You gotta have that one person to light up the room. Like,
But you gotta be there, Ryan, to light up the room.
I was in study hall.
That's what he said, and then I saw the GPA. I go, bro, you
were not in study hall.
Keeping him eligible was a problem.
I actually had a 3.8 GPA.
That's the kind of car you drove, or that's your GPA?
No,
Okay.
my freshman year I was academic on a roll and had 3.8. Sarah was was
Very
Sarah.
proud of
Sarah
you.
was
The guidance counselor.
guidance counselor. Yes, I loved her.
Okay, what about Chad?
Chad. Now, Chad is different because I'm not a great storyteller, but I will say that Chad Owens, like I always say, Colt Brennan is the greatest player in Hawaii history. I also follow up with Chad Owens is the most exciting player in University of Hawaii history because it's different. Quarterbacks control the game. They throw the ball so many times. They're, in control of the offense. But this guy was the most exciting player. And I had a little part of that, too, because I coached kickoff return. And we led the nation in kickoff returns. And this guy was the reason we led the nation. So I'm not really telling any stories bad about Chad because there really wasn't anything bad because we didn't even want Chad, so I don't know if people know the story.
That's true story.
We wanted Chad Kapanui, who was this left-handed quarterback out of Roosevelt.
He was right-handed,
so, right-handed, yeah. My bad. And so Chad just happened to be smart enough to be catching the ball for him during this workout, during this visual kind of presentation, where the coach goes, well, who's that guy? Even though he's like this tall, he wasn't as yoked as he is now. You couldn't even envision this guy being one of the most exciting players, not only in our program, the most exciting, but in the country. So I don't have any like legendary stories that kind of like expose Chad Owens, but I have literal memories of greatness and just glad to be part of his career.
Wow.
Appreciate that, Coach. Yeah, it was just a crazy story, crazy time, and it's, but that just goes to show, in life you can create your own path. You can, if you have that belief system like you did, and like a lot of people, a lot of these success stories, entrepreneurs, that they sort of pave their own way,
right?
Because they get overlooked, and there's no other way but to crawl out and to fight, scratch, and do it yourself with the right support system. So look, with that, we're going to dive deeper into the extended version with Rich Miano on YouTube. So make sure you guys stick around. This is the Running It Back podcast.
Welcome to the extended version on YouTube of the Running It Back podcast. I'm here with Chad Owens, Ryan Kilmaka, and Coach Rich Miano. We're here just chatting away.
Yeah.
So boys,
we're continuing on, and Coach, I appreciate that. I guess you are, you are your signature. What you do, the work you put in, that's on you, and you believe this, I believe this, Ryan. Everybody probably has this belief system. Anything you touch, it's you, right? You want to be represented, the way you want to be represented. And my thing was, I was overlooked. I was that guy that had to walk on and prove myself daily. And I'm so appreciative that I was the last man added to that fall training camp that year, because what did I do? Right when I got accepted to the school. Okay, you can walk on. Started training with Coach, Mel DeLaura, right. Tommy, getting in there, just getting after it. And I loved the weight room anyway. In Roosevelt, we that's what we did. We worked hard, we got after it. And so the work ethic, I think, was the one thing that's the thing that I had in my control. That's the thing that I could show, and I guess it showed. And that gave me an opportunity, hey, let's get this guy into camp and let's see what happens. I was able to be part of a team and part of something, Division I football, something I never dreamed of. And I just can't thank you guys enough for giving me that opportunity. And you talk about the memories, you talk about the time, you talk about those years, that run. It was very special.
Ooh, thinking about that run. I just got to put this on again.
Ooh, I like that. Sugar Bowl?
Sugar Bowl.
That's nice, right? I don't have anything like that.
Champs. Undefeated, 12-0. Bling, bling.
Just a little bit. It's too much. Oh, it's too shiny. Gotta take them off. Too shiny.
But with all of that being said, Coach, everything you've done, all the giving back you've given. Now, you're directing, at a higher level. The Hula Bowl, the Polynesian Bowl. Can you talk to us about those things? What we can expect here in the future, and maybe some of the other things you got going on right now.
Yeah, so I look at it as exposure with an X. O is opportunity. So the more exposure,
X's and O's?
X's and O's. That's the brand. And the hats are coming out soon. They should be on you guys' websites. The T-shirts, the hoodies are all coming. Because to me, in Hawaii, being logistically challenged and our kids always being overlooked, back in the day, you didn't have a college coach from the mainland come here unless he was looking for Jesse Sapolo or Ma'a Tanavasa, O-line, D-line. Now we have this run-on quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota, Tua Tagovailoa, Mackenzie Milton, Dylan Gabriel. I mean, just Think about the amount of quarterbacks. Best per capita by far in the United States. In the 7-on-7 leagues, all these other things. But how do we get these kids noticed? And everything I do from GPA, when we fly in and we subsidize 20, 30, 40, 50 coaches, is something to give these guys exposure. You look at the Hula Bowl, that gives players that may not necessarily be invited to the Senior Bowl an opportunity. This past year, 4 draft picks, 53 free agents, over half the roster are on NFL teams right now. You look at the Polynesian Bowl, it is now the biggest and best all-star game in the country. The roster is loaded this year. And again, I get to choose 25 local players to be part of a 100-person roster. Think about this now. This 75 being picked from 330 million Americans on the continent, as well as Australia, Samoa, Tonga, all of that stuff. So we're represented here in Hawaii because the game is played here. We believe in the local athlete, and we know not necessarily they're 4 or 5-star recruits, but when they get on the field with these 4 or 5-star recruits, they're gonna ball out.
Yeah.
So you look at that, you look at Hawaii Speed and Quickness, you look at the classics we're doing in Vegas, the Showcase Combine we just did last month, 500 kids, largest Showcase Combine in the United States. People coming from 38 different states. Our brand is so powerful and so strong because it's an education, it's a culture, and it's different than other brands.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
And it's representative of the culture.
Yep.
And I know you're extremely proud of that. I'm proud of it. I'm proud to have played in the Hula Bowl, now coached in it. You know, I was part of the Polynesian Bowl last year, the Polynesian Hall of Fame.
Yes.
You know, there's so many things that are representing now for our culture, and it's on the map. It's even more than ever, and I love that. And that is a true stat. I don't know if you guys knew that, but per capita, we're doing our thing.
We got
Yeah.
the most people in the NFL, just in general,
Well,
Polynesian in general.
Yes, per capita by far,
By
like
far.
times 80. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? There's like 35 million African Americans. There's like 300 million whites. The amount of Polynesians, and you look at over 80 to 100 in the National Football League out of 2,000. It's hard to even fathom. It's hard to explain how successful these people are at the game of football. And I think that is the ability to also show what a beautiful culture they have to these other ethnicities and to the rest of America, if not the world. And when you look at Marcus Mariota, Tua Tagovailoa, Jesse Sapolu, Ma'a Tanavasa, Reno Mahe, Vai Sikahema. Some of these guys have phenomenal stories. They're well-spoken, they're articulate, and they can really share this culture with the rest of the world. And you go to the Polynesian Cultural Center, and you go to the exhibit that shows the Polynesian Hall of
been
Fame.
there. It's amazing.
It's unbelievable how
How many
millions of
people.
people. It should be at the airport. It should be all over this town because it's a great story that needs to continue to be told.
All right, Coach. So, with that, on that note, how can we get the Polynesian legends, out there more? How can we get more views? How can we get people to see it more?
Yeah, and we have the best spokespeople in the world right now. When you talk about Marcus Mariota, Tua Tagovailoa, Jesse Sapolu, Ma'a Tanavasa, there's so many guys now that are in a position of power, of exposure, that can spread this not only through social media, but I think we as a state need to really recognize this. And when you go to the Honolulu International Airport, I think they say there's 10 million people that go through that airport a year, whether they're going to Asia or they're going to wherever they're going, but they want to know this. And I always believe, like when we filmed Polynesian Power, say about 10 years ago, and it was the story of Isaac Sapawanga and Pisa Tanoi Samoa and their travels from San Diego and Samoa to the National
It was
Football League.
unbelievable.
People on the mainland don't understand what Polynesians are, where they came from, what their roots are. And the education alone, to me, is Netflix. It's a documentary. It's a story that needs to be told. When you talk about the Dominican Republic in baseball, that's an interesting story because it's a country so small, and yet they have such success at the highest level.
Yes.
Well, Samoa, Hawaii, Polynesia is a great story in football. And to me, I know there's a lot of baseball fans out there, but people want to know, not necessarily like Friday Night Lights, but how did this guy become Tua, Marcus, Jesse, Ma'a, guys that are just killing it at the highest level.
Yeah, and I bet something like that is got to already be in the works. I mean, that story has to be told.
Yeah, and it is, and we're working on some things. There's some scripts that are being written, all those type of things. But it has to, like, if I'm the state of Hawaii, and if I'm an up and coming mayor like Rick Belangiardi, and the next administration, whether it's Andrea Tupola, whether it's Augie T, whatever else, this is something that the Honolulu Airport needs. Culture, it needs education, it needs something to tell the story, and not just us. It can be surfing and Carissa Moore and John Florence and Kai Lenny, but it needs to tell a story, because that's where the visitors come. And the Polynesian,
on the planes,
on the planes,
on the
Hawaiian
way here.
Air, all that kind of stuff. The story needs to be continued, because I don't think people know the nuances, the intricacies. And when you go to Samoa, I've been there 11 times. They're not practicing at state-of-the-art training facilities, and you look at the facilities, you look at the equipment, you look at everything, and they're overcoming these things because of their great passion, because they're great genetics, because they're great want to. And to me, that's an American dream.
No, I mean, you talk about but that's their normal and their culture. I think their culture, their upbringing, it's hard work. It doesn't, if you're never exposed to the best equipment or this, but all you know is grit, grind, hard work, and hey, if I work hard, that's what I can get. I can achieve this. That's all you know, and that's how you develop, right? And
no
I think
question.
some of the top athletes come from underprivileged areas.
And Chad, everything we do at GPA, at Hawaii Speed and Quickness, at the Hula Bowl, at the Polynesian Bowl, we tell these coaches, you're going to be a better football team. I don't care if it's Alabama, Oklahoma, if you have Polynesians on your team, because one is they're respectful to coaches. They're respectful to elders. They're passionate. They're tough. They don't complain. And they're just, that makes every team better when you have these guys on the team. And I try to, paying it forward, it's also the coaches, the Kenny Niumataolos, the Tony Tuiotis, the Kaika Malois. These coaches make your staff better too, because they bring a culture of discipline, hard work, passion, and you can't replace passion in football. The reason you were successful is because you put in those, as Malcolm Gladwell would say, those 10,000 hours, because you love the sport. A lot of these kids don't love the sport. A lot of our kids do love the sport.
Right. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Huge difference. Well, right now, Coach, we're going to get a little 21 questions, kind of, but get to know you a little bit better.
Well, Ryan's
all right?
game.
But it's like quick answers, and you can elaborate a little bit, but, try to just...
First thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to mind, all right?
This or that type of.
Here we go. Leg day or chest day?
Legs, bro. Legs is the foundation.
Hold on.
But you just
You want to look,
chest
no,
day.
but you like look good or you like play good?
Coach, we don't want the politically correct answer.
Where you at with that?
Coach,
What you
we
I'm
got?
all
don't
about
want
leg
the
day.
politically correct answer.
We want the right.
What's the truth?
What's your
for me?
Yes.
I'm going chest.
See, come on.
You know that.
Perfect. Okay. Aloha shoyu or kikoman?
Ooh, this is cultural. I'll go with the, my Japanese fans want me to go with Kikoman, but I'm going with Aloha Shoyu.
Okay, here we go. If you could choose one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, bro, I'm not good with like science fiction and stuff like that, but Superman.
Oh, Superman?
Is that one?
Yeah.
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 Sure.
Strong.
How about this?
Kind of reminds me of Chad.
Lasagna or pizza?
Bro, I'm Italian,
Exactly.
bro. First of all, don't be giving me Domino's and Pizza Hut, whatever else, bro. But I'm going to have to go with the lasagna because it's a little bit more complex.
Okie dokie. Golfing or football?
Lifelong or like make money or passion or what?
But you gotta go golfing or surfing.
Yeah. Me,
That's just
golfing or
ridiculous.
stand-up
Okay.
paddling?
Golfing or just surfing in general?
Stand-up paddling. Water. Surfing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because you can headstand. That's right. Handstand on the surfboard, huh?
Wow, you saw that picture.
Yeah, we saw all 50 of the ones you sent in. But
Well, I
anyway.
didn't know what you guys like, so, I figure you guys can use whatever's high definition. I'm not a pro like you guys. I don't do
Coach,
podcasts.
you sent in a picture of a picture of a picture.
Well, Well, that's not, the resolution probably not too good, but it was a good
Hey,
picture.
good picture. Get one in
No, all the
particular.
pictures are
We was
great.
kind of like, oh, model. Anyway,
That
what was that for? Fruit of the Loom, or what was that?
I think that was for Calvin Klein, but
was hilarious. Boxers or briefs?
boxers,
Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme?
Dunkin' Donuts. I might have a financial interest there. That's why. That's
Waikiki or Sandy's?
during the pandemic, Waikiki. During regular times, Sandy's. I live Hawaii Kai, bro.
No,
You know,
down the street.
Kaiser. You look at the enrollment. It dips when the surf is up. Not like you guys that Ryan. Where you live? Town, yeah.
Yeah, Makiki right now. Oh, here you go. Here we go. I got another one. Deep dish pizza or thin crust? Come on.
Come on, bro. You can't go with the Chicago style when you grew up in New York and Boston. I'm going with the thin crust.
But okay.
But you probably put pineapple on the pizza, so I don't even know why you
No.
asking.
LeBron or MJ?
You got to go with MJ. But I'm going to recognize this. When it's all said and done, LeBron going to have 3 to 5 more great years. I don't think there's going to be a question. But right now, MJ.
Wait.
People don't look at the length of LeBron's career as it continues, even though they're out of the playoffs. Go ahead.
Okay, Chad or Ryan?
In football or theatrics? In football, Chad is right there with Cope Brennan, bro. Ryan is right here with our great walk-on class over here. So
The Wobs. The
Wobs.
Wobs. The
The
Wobs.
Wobs,
Wobs.
baby. Goonies or a never-ending story?
Never seen either one.
What?
Bro, I'm a
is-
documentary guy. Like
this is
I like
old
to
school.
read books.
Ooh,
bro.
what's your
This is-
favorite documentary?
What's your favorite doc?
on Netflix right now? Do you like
I
watching
just saw
Netflix?
that conspiracy, and it's not the plastic straws, bro. It's the overfishing.
Yeah, I
But-
watched
Yes,
that. That one is
yeah,
deep.
that was a good one.
How about the college admission scandal?
Ooh, I watched that one
Deep,
too. That's
So
crazy.
you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get educated as I
Okay.
get older.
Well, then rom-coms or action movies?
What's a rom-com?
It's like a comedy, romantic comedy
Romance.
kind
Oh,
of.
no, my wife likes me to watch sitcoms and stuff with her. I cannot do it, bro.
Action.
Action.
right.
I call it love stories or action. I'm going action.
Okay, last one.
That's not
Here we go.
romantic, but she gonna kill me.
Best coach you coached with or got coached by?
Best coach I got coached by was Bud Carson, who to me was the greatest defensive coordinator in history. The best coach I coached with, June Jones.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Best defensive coach then.
At Hawaii, I'm going to go with Dwayne Aquina.
Dwayne Aquina.
I had Bob Wagner, I had Dick Tomey, but Dwayne Aquina, who's the defensive back coach at Stanford, is to me, I just love that guy. I just think he's phenomenal as everything.
Awesome. Good feedback. Thanks, coach. Little background about Coach Miano. Thank you guys.
Good job.
That was
with the
good, that was
questions.
good.
Oh, okay.
Random.
Okay. Random Ryans.
Random.
Ryan's randoms.
Ryan's random.
Got you.
like that
That's
one.
a good one.
I like that one.
Ryan's random.
Yeah. Coach, we've sort of been all over the place today, but I got to ask you, man, I think this year's draft, NFL draft, was kind of high on quarterbacks. I got my opinions, but out of all of this group that came out this year, who do you think is going to have the most success, immediate success?
That's usually when you look back at the history of the first pick of the draft, not a lot of success, especially initially, because you're going to the worst team with usually the worst talent. The parity level in the NFL, the way it's set up, is for that. I'm going to say, and I don't know about the Jets with the kid from BYU. Fields is a good player. Trevor's a good player. I'm going to go with Trevor only because getting Travis Etienne in the first round as well, the running back from Clemson, and Urban Meyer as the new coach. I think those guys are going to be like, how college coaches are hungry, they train hard, they're going to come out of the gate hard, and I think they're going to have some success. So I'll go with Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, but on that note, what's your thoughts and your opinion about the Tim Tebow coming out, of retirement?
Here's the deal, and I told this to my son Kupa'a yesterday. I go, normally you would say, wow, quarterback, playing tight end. Quarterbacks are prima donnas. If you watch the film of Tim Tebow, and they used to have these battle royales where you just fight. You pick out the best guy on defense, you pick out the best. And I'm not talking about football. I'm talking about just straight fight. And Tim Tebow was whipping some butt. That's when I learned to respect him as not only a quarterback, but as a tough football player. So you see how yoked he is. He's 34 years old. You know, he has the ability to read defenses and do all that kind of stuff a tight end needs to do. I think he'll get in front of somebody and block somebody. I think he makes the team. Now, will he be great? That's a long shot.
Wow. I mean, I think it's amazing, for someone to be out 9 seasons. I mean, you think there's some Urban Meyer played for Urban Meyer.
No question.
Ticket sales,
no question.
all of those things, right?
Yeah, and if you've been to Gainesville, Florida, and I have, he's like Tua is in Tuscaloosa, Tebow is in Gainesville, Florida, and really in Florida in general. So there is ticket sales, everything else. That is his coach. But only a guy like Urban Meyer or June Jones or somebody that is like different could pull that trigger. But I'm glad he did, because even if he doesn't make it, more power to you for trying.
Oh yeah, and
I'm gonna get a jersey
I'm
just
excited.
because.
I'm excited to
Number
see
one
him.
jersey seller.
Yeah, because
Right
you're never
now,
going to
yeah.
get
right now.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that tight end jersey. You might just be 1 year. You know what I mean? So you might be just kind of like a rookie card kind of deal.
Wow.
Investor.
Yeah, Ryan. Yeah,
Ryan,
smart.
always looking at
He's always about them stocks and them trades. And
Yeah, Bitcoin, all that.
But anyway, look, Coach, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. I think we can talk for hours and hours and hours.
I love listening.
So much more stories to tell. With that, we'll have you on again.
Let's get an alcohol
sure.
sponsor. I know Lanai has some. Then we'll really be able to talk some stories.
We'll definitely do that. Thanks again, Coach, and thank you
guys.
all for tuning in. This is the Running It Back podcast.
Running back, baby.
Aloha.
All right, coach.
Running It Back was presented to you by the Honolulu Star Advertiser and Hawaiian Telcom.